Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the video that I made last night when I was really frustrated about this AMD 7900 XT PC. Okay, so I've done a bunch more research, and it just appears that just like with Nvidia, the same problems that I was having with Nvidia is just this is game specific, my friends. This is something that happens to certain types of games. And I'm just going to chalk it up to overall not compatibility, but overall not customization. What's the word for that? To optimization. I'm just going to chalk it up to optimization because it's not all Ubisoft games that I'm having problems with. It's just like select few games. Like I made that video of Ghost Recon to show you what the problem is like I'll be playing and then it just stops and freezes and then it goes right back to the same like high FPS. And I get that in a couple of games, but in other games it's nowhere near as bad. So I mean but I still get like the stuttering and stuff. Even when I set my frame rate lower and lock my frame rate lower on those games, it still just kind of happens. So I'm just going to chalk that up to like a optimization thing and just kind of move forward with that. And I mean, I don't even play Ghost Recon that often anymore anyways. Like I was just, testing it out, wanted to see, the max frame rate that I can get. And with this card, obviously I'm getting better performance in a lot of games that I use that I normally would have had with that 3080. That 3080 had its fair share of problems too. So, I mean, everybody in the comments section telling me to just go get Nvidia. I mean, like I was having problems with that too. I know my knowledge about PC isn't like really super high, but I'm learning more every single day. Every single day I'm learning more. I already sold that 3080. Already sold that off to kind of help pay for some of the other stuff that I bought because I didn't even plan on I didn't even plan on doing a whole PC build. It just kind of happened that way. So I sold that card so that I could get some of that money back because frankly, I just didn't have the money to just run out and start buying stuff. But when it comes to how I'm feeling, like I'm a moody gamer. I am. And when I start running into problems on PC that obviously there's no fix for, like I've tried everything. I've fresh Windows to install. This is a brand new motherboard, a brand new piece, a brand new power supply. Everything is brand new. The only thing that I kept from that old build is the CPU. And here in the next couple of months or so, I'm going to be upgrading this to either a 5900X or 5950X. So if it is the CPU, I mean, we will definitely find out then when I go ahead and do that upgrade. I'm actually looking at possibly getting it as soon as possible, but it's just one of those things. Like that's the only holdover now from my old PC aside from my SSDs. And from my SSDs, I yeah, I don't know. So those are the only two things. And I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy new SSDs just because of that. Now, this is a 980 Pro. It's running off a 980 Pro, and then I've got like I think it's like a Western Digital 1 terabyte SSD, plus I have another SATA SSD. So everything in this PC is all SSD. There's no there's no hard disk drives in this PC whatsoever. Everything is brand new. I've deleted and reinstalled drivers multiple times. It's a fresh, brand new Windows installation. There's nothing from my old PC even on this one at all. So this is all brand new. This is all fresh. It's a complete, it's a complete new system. I've went through and I've looked for MSI drivers. I've went through and I've looked for all the drivers, for all the components in here. I sat here and went through every single driver in here and tried to and checked and see if there was any updates for there. I've done a lot of different types of troubleshooting to try to get this thing to stop doing that with those select games, and it's only a handful of them really. It's my KT racing games. It's not as bad in the rally games as it is in the bike games. And then there's Forspoken that has a little bit more stutter than I want. And then there's Ghost Recon, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But Valhalla runs for the most part like pretty dang good. Like I don't really have like the stop and freeze issues with that game. So, but other games, The Last of Us runs flawlessly. Like The Last of Us runs way better now than it ever did on that Nvidia card, and like way better. Like I'm pushing over 100 frames a second at max settings and just playing that game, and it's pretty solid. No stopping, no stuttering, no freezing. What else? Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man runs significantly better than it ever has before. So there's like a trade-off, and I'm fine with that for the most part, as long as new Ubisoft games don't have a big problem with it. Like Far Cry 6, I'm playing around with Far Cry 6, and the performance of that game is good enough to where when it does do like the little micro stutters and stuff, it doesn't like pause like it does on Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon is by far the worst one out of all of them. Those pauses are just they're long enough to where you can see the action stop and then move forward. That's probably my biggest problem with that. And it all of this comes down to, like, think about it. If I sat here and I thought about this, if I had not downloaded and played any of the games that I'm having a problem with, I would be very, very happy with this card right now. I would be like, wow, this is incredible. So I'm glad that I found these things that have really pushed me to like really try to look and see if I can find a fix for them. But on the other side of things, like Nvidia, I did love that 3080 card. Like I did love it, but I kept running into I kept running into issues more often than not. I mean, the games would work, but like something like The Last of Us. The Last of Us was a complete mess. I was just like, I'm not even playing this game. And then I put it on here, and it runs smoothly. It runs good. And a lot of the games, and I've went through and I've tested multiple games that I was struggling with on that 3080 card, and they all run much better now. Every single one of them. So that's the thing. Like, when it comes to like the upgrade over the 3080 for what I got right now, I'm more happy with my upgrade than I'm not. If that makes sense. Like I'm more happy with my upgrade than I'm not. I do miss features from Nvidia, but there's other AMD features that are better. And when it comes to like FSR2, I've been testing this out. I've been looking at it. I've been, going through the motions with it and trying to decide like, hey man, is this even a replacement for what I was getting with DLSS? And here's the thing, man. Like, I don't know if anybody else notices these things. These are just the things that I notice, and other people are quick to gloss over. I'm like, no, Nvidia's better, blah, blah, blah. But every time I would use DLSS in certain games, my frame rate would become far more inconsistent. Like, it would just be all over the place more. And when I use FSR, it's a more consistent experience than it ever was with DLSS. Like, yeah, DLSS would give me, higher frames, but it would also drop, and like it would move up and down the spectrum. And I want to go back and I'm going to watch a bunch of my old videos that I did on the Nvidia cards to kind of look at that frame rate, because I'm noticing just a more stable across the board frame rate in all the games that I'm playing now on this AMD card. So I really do wish that I would have kept that 3080 and tried it out on this new build to see if that would have fixed some of those problems. But to tell you the truth, I just don't. I mean, my power supply was rated and it was fine for a 3080 on that old build. It was a pretty stable, PC for the most part. Like, that HP Omen was pretty dang good. Like, it wasn't bad. I didn't have a whole lot of problems with it. I would play games. I was able to play games, and as long as the frame rate was over 60 frames a second, like, it felt like a good experience. Like, I'm not complaining too much about like the frame rate, because I always had like a stable, like a higher frame rate. But when it comes to like using features like DLSS or any of that kind of stuff, that's when things would just start to get a little bit less stable. And like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it was a gigabyte OC card. So I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different experience, and when we're happy with something, we tend to we tend to be in like a honeymoon phase, like all the time, you know. I mean, like, and I'm not here to defend Nvidia or AMD. I'm just here to be like, look, man, these are my experiences. Is this something you really want to do? And it's not meant to try to scare you away or get you to FOMO into becoming a PC gamer. It's just, I need a PC for this channel. That's the main thing. But I do dabble with it because of the capabilities of it. I am able to play games and play them at a better frame rate and graphical presets than I can get on the consoles, and I like to check those out. I've only beat a few games on the PC. I play mostly everything else on the console still, but I was hoping that you know, maybe this is the start of me being able to move closer to PC, because if we keep going down the console road, I mean, it's just going to keep getting more and more and more. I don't know. For me, this was a good time to get in here and start learning PC. So I'm not 100% dissatisfied with the 7900 XT. Like, I am still at a point where I'm like, dude, I would just rather enjoy playing video games than have to deal with all of this nonsense. And, you know, at the same time, like, I'm not going to give up on it. Like, I'm going to keep going, but it does suck, man. I wish that it wasn't as temperamental when it comes to playing games on PC. Like, I wish that developers would do better to optimize these games for PC better. And I wish that like AMD and Nvidia had their software like 100% together, you know, especially with the money they're asking for these graphics cards, my friends. $800 for this graphics card, that's $300 more than the top of the line, you know, Xbox Series X or PS5. So when you look at that, you're like, come on, man. Like, I want better optimization. I don't want everything on PC to always feel like I'm starting to feel like a crash test dummy, to be completely honest with you. It's like, by the time I'm ready to get rid of this card and get a new one, it'll be fixed and it'll be running and it'll be optimized better. You know what I mean? But I want to stick it out with AMD for a while. You know, I do. I want to stick it out. I want to see, as the drivers, you know, come in for this card, I want to see if it improves things. I want to see what it fixes and what it does. Because I want you to have a well-rounded experience from going to AMD. And I've read a lot of stuff. You know, there's a lot of other gamers out there that are struggling with the Ubisoft games as well. It's not just me. It's a lot of people. So I'm thinking that this is more of a game issue and not a hardware or a build issue. Like, my biggest thing was like, okay, did I mess something up when I was building it? I don't think I did. I think I put it together right. I don't think I'm going to call a freaking tech support dude. I think it's just terrible optimization for games. And that was the same thing I did with the Nvidia thing. I just chalked it up to bad optimization. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to give it a little while. I'm going to play some of these games. I'm going to stick it out for a while. And if it is something, you know, I've got like I'll tell you what, like, if there's something happens to the card, then I will go back to Nvidia and I'll just get a refund or something for it, or warranty it out or whatever. Because I got like I think I got a 3-year warranty on this card, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But I'll just hang on to it, you know, and then, you know, get another card down the road. It's not really a big deal, guys. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I don't want to have to keep buying like PC graphic cards and stuff. I wanted to be able to get some real world usage out of this AMD build, so that I could build my knowledge, so I could build things. And like, what better way than to have to sit and deal with problems like this? It really is just these certain games, just these few games that I'm having this problem with, and it's driving me nuts. And it's like one of those things where, like, hey man, did I not do this right? But I don't think it has anything to do with the build. I think it was just me, you know, maybe just being a little bit too demanding when it comes to when it comes to this, you know, thinking like, no, man, I should be able to run my game at 165 frames a second with no problems, you know. And I know that that's just not realistic. So, all right, my friends, thank you guys for coming back and watching. I will be back on later tonight, but I got to get to work now. So if you guys have any questions or comments, anything, just put it in the comments section, and then I'll try to answer it the earliest I can. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.